Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my reaction to Doctor Who Series 12, Episode 5, Fugitive of the Judoon. What an episode this was. I don't even know how to start describing this episode. And this reaction, I'm going to try and keep it spoiler-free, might not succeed in that, and then do some more spoilers in the review, so warning for that, as per usual. Okay, so, and also this is the first viewing reaction. This is the morning afterwards. I'm actually going to go and watch the episode for just when I have my breakfast. This is just before I eat breakfast, like with the last reaction. And then I'll rewatch the episodes like I did again with the last two episodes. Well, episode 3 and episode 4 last week. But anyway, Fugitive of the Judoon. Okay, from the outside, it looks like it's just going to be Judoon looking for this fugitive in the city of Gloucester. Doctor and company have to either stop or help or mix of the two of both sides of those, basically ensuring nobody else gets hurt. Because we do see 2 people die. One from a force field, which the Judoon feel the need to kill innocent people because they're trying to leave a force field area. Yeah, the Silurians never did that. Silurians, for example, with their dome. And, of course, when somebody assaults a Judoon, it's automatic execution. One of these days, I want the Doctor to say, no, you can't do that in a Judoon story at some point. I would like to see that. And then actually stop them from doing that. But anyway, that's hopes for enough for a future story at some point in the future. But this story right now, yeah, we do see innocent people getting hurt and or killed. You have to mention they do bring back the scanning thing. I think they use their little communication scanning thing to scan people's DNA instead of the old light-up torch thingy that we've seen Smith and Jones. However, we do see the return of the marker of them not being who they're looking for being human, although they stamp it now instead of pen ink DX on them. They also hand out compensation for destroying someone's personal belongings. Not that that said person who got the compensation will need it, because that's the first victim with the force field. Also have to mention the new effects of the guns. They're pretty different to what they were in Smith and Jones. I don't know if they're, because I was in a call on Saturday with the fellow members of the Universals. We were talking after the live stream discussion of episodes 1 to 4, and we were discussing maybe they've, Orphan 55, we might not be seeing deaths because maybe they're trying to be less violent. This episode, I think that's either a similar thing with this, with the effects in this story with the gun effects. They're either trying to be less violent or they're trying to be more violent. I'm not sure. Maybe they're trying to be less violent so that they can't get another 12 age rating for this episode, like all of Series 11 was, apart from the Saranga Conundrum. Every episode was a 12 for one reason or another. So then maybe they're either hoping they can tone down the violence to get a PG, or maybe they think it's going to be a 12 anyway, because the BBFC seem to think all but 1 or 2 episodes seem to be 12 rated all of a sudden, so might as well make it a little bit more 12 rated-esque. Meanwhile, a certain other character pops up to talk to Graham, Ryan and Yasmin. And I do think this character doesn't get an awful lot to do in this story, although it's fantastic to see them back. It's a returning character. Won't spoil it here, but it's in the review. I will say it is a character people have been predicting / hoping for a return for many, many years. Pretty much over about a decade. So we were all happy. It's just that he doesn't get an awful lot to do, and the companions do take a bit of a backseat from the story once they go and see him. And we don't even know what's going on in that situation, but it seems like they're there to set up the rest of the story arc of the series and to set up the series finale, which will have something to do with the Cybermen by the looks of it. I mean, yeah, it doesn't feel like it's contributing much to this story, but maybe it'll contribute much more to the overall story arc once we come along. And this character, like the Master, could come back later on in the series. The Master was mentioned a bit earlier on in the story with the Doctor looking for him in case he escaped the Kasavan world. Because the Master does escape somehow from places he's trapped in. Look at the 80s stories he was in. So you escaped from Zerapas. Oh my dear Doctor, you have been naive. It's actually that's probably the best scene from King's Demons, which is a story I'm not really a fan of. But yeah, so the Master can just escape. So it's like that's why the Doctor's probably looking for him, and she's probably expecting him to come back at some point. Anyway, well, Sacha Dhawan's Master. Anyway, so once the companions go off to talk with returning character who I shall not name because this is a spoiler-free reaction, but I will name in the review, and we'll talk about it a bit more. The Doctor goes to try and sort out what's going on. Turns out the fugitive is not who we initially thought it was going to be. It turns out to be someone else, and it turns out this someone else is secretly someone we did not expect to see. This was a massive twist when we came to it. I mean, the idea of this character being the fugitive instead of another character, not so much of a twist. It's just like, oh, hang on, oh, it's this character, not in that one. But who the character really is, because they don't know who they really are. They think they're a normal person, but then they turn out and they get their memories back for a method I won't tell you because spoilers, and we find out who they really are. And this was the point where I think I was talking to fellow Universals yesterday. Some of them were broken by this twist. This was a massive twist. This is a good broken, as in a shocked, can't believe this. What? With this character, I can't go into too much detail because it is spoilery, so we'll have to wait till the review to talk about that more. Please remember to do that. But my goodness, so many twists and turns that I think do sort of tie in with the story arc as well. By the way, I think this series, with doing Chris Chibnall, was more than making up for make more story arc this series than he did last year. Because last year the closest thing we got was the fam growing as a family and Ryan and Graham's personal connection with each other, and the Doctor finding her feet as a character. Those were the closest we got. Here now we've got kind of a mix between a Russell T Davies big bombastic overarching story arc and a really convoluted Stephen Moffat story arc. It's kind of a mix of the two. At the moment, it's working okay. It's just that episode 3 and 4 didn't really contribute much to that. But now we've got episode 5, which is a massive player in this story, and possibly more than the first two. Or at least the first two in terms of the story overall. They did set up the story arc in episode 2 of Spyfall. Especially towards the end, but as far as the main plots were concerned, apart from the stuff with the Master, it wasn't a massive player to the story arc until towards the end, although more so than 3 and 4. And then episode 5 is so far is the biggest one with this story arc, because it looks like it's introducing new elements, and it's going to get more complicated, but yet could possibly more satisfying when we get there. With our fugitive character turning out to be who they really are, returning character, Cybermen, possibly the Master as well. I'm predicting he's going to come back again. He's going to keep popping up again every now and again because he was introduced early in Series 12. He's going to be popping up a bit more in the 13th Doctor's era at least. Might even see the return of the Judoon because the episode ends with the Judoon's contract not really being completed, but they've been relieved of it, but they say Judoon contracts will always be fulfilled. So we might see them in the finale as well. Series 12's finale might be a bit overstuffed if all these characters return. But we'll see how it goes. Not to mention the Sidemen, if I didn't already mention that. And of course, the companions' story arcs wrapping up. I do have to say, with the companions in this episode, they didn't get an awful lot to do. Graham was taken out of the picture after a joke, so he can go and meet returning character. Though some very funny stuff with that returning character. And then returning character picked up Ryan and Yasmin, although they did get a couple of good stuff to do with the Judoon, and even got a bit of Yasmin's police knowledge just sprinkled in there just for good measure. So, I mean, they were better used here than they were in some of the previous episodes. We got a little bit more to do than, I would say, Nikola Tesla for Ryan and Graham, or especially Ryan. And Yasmin got a bit of stuff to do as well, and even brought up the police stuff, her police knowledge. Although only briefly and not much of it. Yeah, you could have done a bit more of that with Space Police and Earth Police. But okay, never mind. And I do have to say, the conversations between the Doctor and the fugitive character in the car, those were really nice. Some really nice drama scenes with the characters talking and looking around the lighthouse that we see in the trailers. Some very good moments in the Doctor investigating what's going on whilst the fugitive, before they get their memories back, sort of remembering its homely feel, and then getting their memories back. Episode also ends pretty well with the companions trying to get some answers out of the Doctor, and also a tie-in to next week's episode, probably William Hartnell's story style happens, which that's pretty interesting, by the way. Some really good moments with the companions and the Doctor towards the end, and I like the tying into next episode bits, again, like with what the Hartnell stories would do, and also and some of the Troughton ones as well, and Smile into Thin Ice in 2017 as well. Just a nice little setup for next week, and next week looks pretty good. Final notes, for the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, I think this is the 13th Doctor's best episode as a character, and this is Jodie Whittaker's best performance so far. I think not only has she found her feet by this half of the series, but now she has a massive grip on this character. And I really love the Doctor going more darker and or more serious in scenes like when we first see her towards the end, and when she gets pretty serious throughout the story. I think she's brilliant. Her happy-go-lucky attitude that she has when she's with her friends, that's still also really good as well. Actually kind of enjoying the mix of the two together. But I think I prefer her dark and more serious attitude that we see a lot more in this episode than we have certainly prior to Spyfall. Spyfall had a lot of it. Not so much in Orphan 55 or Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, but certainly here it's definitely amazing. And we've been predicting that the 13th Doctor is going to be the 7th Doctor of the new series, where it starts off a bit funny with a kind of mixed quality season. Then the next season, great season, and more darker, more mysterious Doctor, and then maybe another brilliant series with an even darker and more mysterious Doctor, but with still a bit of a light-hearted, fun attitude now and again, maybe when she's with her friends. But when she's on her own and facing down an enemy, or when she's just left to herself, then we might see more of that darkness come out. So, we'll see how that goes. But certainly at the moment, the 13th Doctor's character is at her best in this episode, and Jodie Whittaker's performance is at her best in this episode at the time of this series, this episode airing, which is 16 episodes. That's 16 episodes, 15 stories of the 13th Doctor's era so far, with another 5 episodes, 4 stories, plus a potential special coming up, and 13 is confirmed for Series 13. Or is she? We've been misled before, but I'm hoping she will be in at least one more season after this, especially after this. Especially now that she's the Doctor and Jodie Whittaker's performance, I liked them in Series 11, but really liked them in Series 12. So hopefully if we continue down this route, Series 13 possibly could be their best one, as far as a performance or character is concerned. We'll see. And also, we've got to do at least 3 years. I'm hoping for a Doctor at one point to do more than 3 series, 4 years, which seems to be the norm for the Doctors, both classic and new series, especially new series. So I'm hoping at least a typical 3 series, 4 year run for our Doctor. But I'm kind of hoping for a 4th series, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, fantastic performance, fantastic character writing for the 13th Doctor. Again, the companions don't get an awful lot to do, but when they're there, they're fun, and the actors play, and the actors do a really great job, and supporting characters is great, especially our returning character, who always brings smiles and joy to the audience. Well, most audiences. I'm sure there'll be some people who complain just because they can. And Nicholas Briggs continues to do a great job as the Judoon voices. Final thoughts on the episode without spoiling anything. I think this is possibly the best individual episode of the series so far, although Spyfall as a story could be the best one. But maybe I'm going to rewatch this whole series before the ranking afterwards. So I will, and also again when I get the Series 12 Blu-ray, so I probably won't get it once it's immediately after it comes out. I might get it for Easter or something. But I'll definitely rewatch the episodes again for the ranking, and we'll see about the end. But certainly at the moment, Fugitive of the Judoon could be the best individual episode of Series 12, but the best story could still be Spyfall, possibly. I mean, maybe my second viewing might make me like this one even more than Spyfall as a story, but certainly it's the best individual episode so far. A few nitpicks, but not enough to downgrade the episode beyond a 9 out of 10 score at the moment. I don't think it's enough to get a 10, but I think 9 is a suitable score. Again, this will be confirmed in the review, but we'll see what I think after the rewatch. I might dislike it a little bit more. But at the moment, I think it's a great episode, and possibly the best one of the series so far, and the second best story so far after Spyfall at the moment. Although, again, that might change. And also one of the strongest episodes of the 13th Doctor Zero, along with Rosa and Demons of the Punjab from last year, which were, those were amazing episodes. And now this one and Spyfall Parts 1 and 2, wow, and Woman Who Fell to Earth and Resolution as well. Some really great episodes in the 13th Doctor Zero, to be honest. I mean, yeah, you got some not so good ones either, but you got some really good ones too. So, it's pretty much like every era, and that's every with an exclamation, because every era's got ups and downs. So this era is this one's not any different. So yeah, I'll stop about that because I've made my point. But yeah, I liked Fugitive of the Judoon quite a lot. A very convoluted, well, I wouldn't say convoluted, but kind of story, but a fun, enjoyable one nevertheless, and some great twists and turns. And yeah, I thought this was probably the best episode of the series. May not be the best story, but it might be the best episode. We'll see after the rewatch. Anyway, thank you for watching this reaction. Next time it's Prexus. I think that's the title, written by Pete McTeague, who wrote Kablam last year, so it'll be interesting to see what he writes. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne YouTube channel. But anyway. As I was predicting, because of which we were thinking about, which I think we sort of guessed. No, special days. This supporting character, apart from the stuff the Master, it wasn't setting up a massive. But yeah, you could have done a bit more of that. Space Rhino's actual police officer, lost fugitive before she regains her memories. Whilst they final notes about this episode. The 13th Doctor, I think this is the best episode for the 13th. Not so much in 3 and 4. Maybe next series will be a fantastic series. And then maybe an even